Okay, good afternoon, Dr. Koss. Welcome to ISIC Communities, our platform for sharing and celebrating stories about the champions in our community who are passionate about our coastal and marine environments and who are acting to protect them. We'll be hearing about the important and influential work they do, as well as their personal stories and their deep love for our marine environment.
So today we have Dr. Rebecca Koss, who is a decorated and passionate sustainability leader with seawater in her veins, who represents the potential for our ISIC communities. Over her 20-year career, she has worked in various roles, such as Senior Communications and Engagement Advisor for the Victorian Commissions for Environmental Sustainability, Environmental Strategy Coordinator with the Port Phillip and Western Port Catchment Management Authority, as well as being a board member for the Central Coastal Board, just to name a few. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Koss.
Thank you both, Marta and Francis, for inviting me. And before we start, I'd love to just acknowledge the traditional owners for where I am. I'm on the Kulin country, and I'd like to just acknowledge the elders of the Boonwurrung and the Wurundjeri from where I'm currently sitting. I've often been welcomed onto country, and elders have shared knowledge of country with me. So I'd like to thank them for taking the time to share that knowledge. And I appreciate their passion and their hard work towards self-determination and treaty.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for the acknowledgement. Why is Victoria's marine and coastal environment so important to you?
I feel like I'm a steward of the marine and coastal environment here. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up next to it, so I feel very connected to it. I feel passionate about it. I care about it. I get frustrated when I see very short-term decisions made about the marine and coastal environment and not long-term sustainable decisions. I also feel as not just Victorians, but Australians generally, we tend to gravitate to the coastline, especially during the warmer months. It's where we recreate, it's where we find our peace and quiet, where we meditate, where we find peace, renewal, and so on. And certainly, obviously, for the Indigenous people of Australia and Torres Strait Islands, it's intrinsically part of their culture. And I think it's incredibly important that we look after it for the future. I think there's too much of an out of sight, out of mind attitude sometimes here within Australia, certainly within Victoria, because it's colder, it's not the Great Barrier Reef, you know. And in fact, I would actually disagree and say that I find it prettier than the Great Barrier Reef. I know that's controversial. But, you know, if you go diving, and so there's some beautiful locations and you find some unique stuff that you just will not see in a coral reef at all. So I feel that it's within me and part of my ethic and value system to protect it and to care for it. And that's why I think it's so important for me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, then what would your favourite story or memory about Victoria's marine environment be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I guess it's more of a personal one. I think it's when I was really young, my dad bought me my first snorkeling set. And I remember that first snorkel I ever did on my local beach, and that's probably the one that resonates with me the most. So thanks to my dad for really getting me into the water. Yeah. And every summer I used to trundle off down to the beach by myself with my snorkel set in hand and go snorkeling. So that was me. And what is another really memorable? I think it's all the snorkeling and diving I've done along the coastline, and just having a great respect for what's in the water and on the seafloor, and just being very privileged to experience diving in those environments, because with climate change, with our resource use of the marine systems, who knows how long it will stay in that condition for. I hope it will never change, but change is inevitable, whichever way it goes. And so I just feel very lucky that I've seen that, and that's what resonates with me.
Yeah. So then I guess, what 3 things would you change today regarding safeguarding Victoria's marine and coastal environment, if you could change 3 things right now?
Absolutely. First of all, a lot of the marine and coastal monitoring and reporting that goes on across different government departments and universities and so on is very purely ecologically focused. What I would like to see is a shift in that to incorporate cultural, behavioural, social sciences and economics together. We still, unfortunately, in our academic systems teach in a very siloed approach where we're just doing ecology, we're just doing economics, and we're just doing social sciences, and we're just doing psychology. It needs to be integrated, because the only way we're going to address climate change is actually integrating across all those subject areas. Yeah. And that's really, I think it's, first of all, that's one of the most important things, to consider all those areas in making decisions. In terms of what else I would do, yeah, if I could rule the world, I guess, I would, this is going to be controversial again, I would limit the development of many of our coastal areas, including creating water sensitive cities. What I mean by that is ensuring stormwater doesn't go out into drains, into estuaries, into river systems, and then into the ocean. Let's capture and harvest that water and reuse it for ourselves, so we reduce our impacts on our coastal marine ecosystems through our freshwater systems. So that's another thing I would do. And also, again, controversial, I would reduce resource extraction in our marine coastal systems. And what I mean by that, I would actually, if I could, work on options to enhance commercial and recreational fishing in a much more sustainable manner, because the latest science research shows that actually our fish numbers are actually decreasing. Yes. And this is not just an Australian phenomena, this is a global phenomena. We're starting to fish out the fish food chain, and what that might mean to our marine systems is quite scary. So a completely new look at how we can actually obtain fish protein through a non-extraction manner. So I'm talking about technology where we produce, you know, fake meat in the labs. Mm-hmm. Why can't we do that with fish protein as well? Reduce the impact on what we're extracting from the oceans.